My name is Betty Hartwell. I'm 35 years old, and until recently, I thought I understood what stability in a relationship felt like. That illusion cracked the night my boyfriend looked at me calmly, almost kindly, and said, "My ex is part of my life. That's not changing." He didn't raise his voice, he didn't argue, he didn't ask how I felt about it. He stated it the way people state the weather, as fact, as something I was expected to accept. I didn't fight him, didn't cry, didn't plead. I just nodded and said, "Noted." At the time, he didn't realize that was the moment everything stopped. We'd been together 6 years, long enough to know each other's routines, habits, silences, long enough that I could tell when something shifted, not dramatically, not explosively, but quietly, like a slow leak you only notice once the room feels colder than it should. His ex-girlfriend had reappeared about 4 months earlier. They dated in college, broke up when she moved away for work, stayed loosely in touch over the years. Nothing alarming, nothing I felt threatened by at first. When he told me she was moving back to the city and wanted to grab coffee, I said yes, without hesitation. "Sure, have fun, say hi." One coffee became lunches. Lunches became dinners. Dinners became weekends, always with the same explanation. "She's just a friend. She's adjusting. She doesn't know many people here." And I believed him. I still do in a way. I don't think anything physical happened, but emotional boundaries blurred in places that matter more. Last Tuesday, he came home after 9. We'd planned dinner together that morning. Nothing fancy, just takeout and a show we'd been saving. I'd eaten alone by the time he walked in. He sat beside me on the couch like nothing had changed. No apology, no acknowledgement. "We need to talk," he said. "Okay." "You've been distant lately. Cold. I can feel it." I kept my eyes on the TV. "I've been giving you space to spend time with your friend." "She has a name." "I know. I'm choosing not to use it." "That's petty. That's self-preservation." He crossed his arms. "I don't like this version of you. I don't like being sidelined. You're being passive-aggressive. I'm being clear. You're spending more time with your ex than with me. That's not true. Count the nights." Silence stretched between us. "We're just friends," he finally said. "I can have female friends." "You can, but when that friend is an ex you see 3 times a week, while I see you once, that's not friendship. That's priority. You're being insecure. And you're being dismissive." He stood up. "I'm not having this conversation again. My ex is part of my life. That's not changing. You need to accept that." I looked at him for a long moment. He wasn't asking. He was informing. "Noted," I replied calmly. "You've made your priorities clear. I'm adjusting mine accordingly." He grabbed his keys. "I'm going for a drive. I can't deal with this right now. Say hi to her for me." The door closed harder than necessary. I sat on the couch for another hour, then went to bed. He came home after midnight and slept on the couch without a word. The next morning, I woke up at 6, like always. Got ready quietly, didn't wake him, didn't leave a note. I used to text him constantly. "Good morning. How's your day? What time will you be home?" That Wednesday, I didn't. And by noon, he noticed. By noon, my phone buzzed. "You didn't say good morning." I saw the message while standing in line for coffee at work. I didn't answer, not out of spite, not to make a point. I simply didn't feel the urgency I used to, that reflex to reassure him, to smooth things over, to keep the emotional current flowing. It wasn't there anymore. At 1, I had a meeting. At 3, I finally checked my phone again. Another message. "Are you okay?" At 6, after my workday ended, I replied, "I'm fine." The typing bubble appeared almost instantly. "You're being weird." I stared at the screen for a moment before answering. "I'm being consistent with your stated priorities." There was a pause this time, longer. "What does that mean?" "You said your ex is part of your life and that's not changing. I'm adjusting my behavior to reflect that." By ignoring me? By not making you my priority when I'm clearly not yours? This is childish. This is proportional. He called me. I let it ring. He called again. I declined. We need to talk when you get home. I arrived at 7 like I had for 6 years. The kitchen lights were on. He was making dinner for 1. His plate was already set on the table. You didn't make enough for 2, I said quietly. You didn't tell me when you'd be home. My schedule hasn't changed. Your attention has. He sat down and gestured toward the empty chair. Are you going to eat? I'll make something later. Stop being difficult. I'm not being difficult, I said evenly. I'm being independent. That's what you wanted, right? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I asked. Spell it out because I'm confused about what you actually want for me. He sighed, frustrated. I want you to support me having friends. I do. You don't act like it. I don't support you prioritizing an ex over your partner. Those aren't the same thing. She's not just an ex. She's someone important to me. Okay, I said. I used to be someone important to you too. That's not fair. When's the last time we had dinner together without your phone lighting up? He didn't answer. I'm going to take a shower. When I came back, he was on the couch scrolling through his phone. I didn't need to ask who he was texting. Thursday morning, I left without a word again. At 10, he called. I was in a meeting. At 11, he called again. I was free but didn't answer. At 1, he texted, "Why aren't you answering me?" I was busy. What's up? We need to talk about what's happening. What's happening is you have your priorities and I have mine. We're coexisting. We're supposed to be partners. Partners communicate, compromise, prioritize each other. We haven't been doing that. You're shutting me out. I communicated for months, I typed slowly. You dismissed it every time. So I stopped explaining and started adjusting by pulling away, by giving you the space you clearly wanted. You're welcome. I don't want space. I want my girlfriend back. Then act like you want a partner, not someone who's supposed to be okay with coming second. He didn't reply for hours. That evening, a coworker asked if I wanted to grab dinner. I said yes, texted my boyfriend out of courtesy, having dinner with a friend, home-like. His reply was immediate. Who? A friend. I'd like to know who. Someone from work. Is it a man? I paused before responding. Does it matter? Yes. Interesting, I typed. Suddenly, who I spend time with matters. Don't do this. Do what? Have dinner with a friend like you've been doing 3 times a week for months? That's different. How? Because I've been transparent. So am I. You're doing this to hurt me. I'm doing this to live my life without centering it around someone who doesn't center theirs around me. I turned my phone off and finished dinner. Got home around 10. He was waiting up. Who were you with? He asked. A coworker. Man or woman. Why does it matter now? It matters. It was a man. We've worked together for 3 years. Nothing romantic. You never mentioned him before. You never asked, I said quietly. You've been busy. I don't like this. Now you know how I've felt for 4 months. That's not the same. How isn't it? You seeing an ex you used to love versus me having dinner with a colleague, and yet I was told I was insecure for feeling uncomfortable. He didn't have an answer. That night he cried. I don't like who you're becoming. I don't like who you've been, I said. I guess we're both disappointed. Friday morning, I woke up to a note on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry I've been distant. I miss us. Can we please talk tonight? The handwriting was familiar, careful, controlled, the same handwriting he used when he wanted something fixed without acknowledging how it broke. I folded the note, slipped it into my bag, and left for work. Around noon, my phone buzzed. Did you see my note? I did. Can we talk tonight? I have plans. What plans? The gym, then dinner. I'll be home around 9. You're avoiding me. I'm living my life like you've been living yours. Please, I need to see you. I'll be home around 9. That wasn't the answer he wanted. I stayed at the gym longer than usual, let the rhythm of the machines drown out my thoughts, took my time with dinner afterward, didn't rush, didn't check my phone. When I got home, it was 9:15. He was on the couch, eyes red. You said 9. I said around 9. You used to be home when you said you would. Used to, I said gently. A lot of things are different now. I hate this. Join the club.
Can we please just talk? His voice cracked. Really talk. Okay, I said. Talk. I'm sorry, he began quickly, for making you feel second, for not seeing how my friendship with her was affecting you. I was selfish. I see that now. I waited. That's it? He asked after a moment. What else do you want me to say? Why it happened, I replied. Not just that you're sorry. I told you I was trying to help a friend. That's not the problem. Then what is? You chose her over me, repeatedly. Every time I expressed discomfort, you reframed it as my insecurity. You made me question my own reactions. I didn't gaslight you. You told me I was being controlling, insecure, overreacting, while you canceled plans with me to see her. I never canceled plans. You forgot dinner Tuesday, I said. We made plans that morning. You went out with her instead. He looked down. I forgot. Exactly, I said softly. You forgot me. Tears slid down his face. What do I have to do to fix this? I took a breath. I don't know if you can. What does that mean? It means I spent 4 months trying to fix it, communicating, compromising. You didn't listen. Now you want me to tell you how to repair something I was breaking alone? So we're just over? I didn't say that. I said, I don't know. Do you still love me? The question hung between us. I love the person I thought I was with, I said slowly. I don't know who you are right now. He covered his face. The weekend was quiet. We moved around each other carefully, like strangers sharing a space. He asked what I wanted for breakfast. I said I'd handle it. He suggested a movie. I said I had other plans. Sunday night, he snapped. This is ridiculous. You're punishing me. I'm protecting myself. From what? From continuing to invest in someone who doesn't invest back. I'm trying now. Now, I repeated after I pulled away. I choose you. Those are words, I said. Show me. How? I don't know, I admitted. That's your responsibility. Monday morning, he made breakfast. 2 plates on the table. I made this for us. I see that, I said. I'm not hungry. Please, just sit with me. Why? Because I'm trying. You're trying to get back what you had, I said. You're not trying to understand what you lost. What's the difference? You want normal back. Normal was me being unhappy and you not noticing. He had no answer. Tuesday evening, he came home earlier than usual. Too early. The kind of early means a decision was made somewhere else before I ever heard about it. I talked to her, he said as soon as he stepped inside. I looked up from the couch. Okay. I told her we need space, that our friendship is hurting my relationship, that I have to prioritize you. I nodded once. Okay. He frowned. That's it? That's it. You're not happy. I'm not unhappy. That's not an answer. It is, I said calmly. It's just not the one you want. I did what you asked. You did what I asked 4 months ago. He rubbed his face. I thought this would fix it. It fixes a symptom, I said, not the problem. What problem? You don't choose us by default, I said. You only choose us when you feel like you're losing me. That's not fair. It's accurate. He sat beside me, voice softer. I'm here now. I know, I said. I'm watching. Over the next few weeks, he tried, really tried. He cooked dinners, planned date nights, put his phone face down, asked about my day, listened without interrupting, all the things he used to do before his ex came back into the picture. And I noticed, but I didn't relax. You're still distant, he said one night. I'm doing everything right. You're doing everything new, I replied. I'm still learning if it's real. That's not fair. You lost the benefit of the doubt. He exhaled sharply. So I'm just auditioning? You're rebuilding trust, I said. It takes time. He reached for my hand. I let him, but my grip stayed loose. What else do you want from me? Consistency, I said. Not effort when you're scared, effort when you're comfortable. He nodded, but I could tell he didn't fully understand yet. Friday night, he planned a date. Nice restaurant, reservations. Thoughtful. Halfway through dinner, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it instinctively, then stopped himself and turned it face down. Who was it? I asked. No one important, he said quickly. That's the wrong answer. He froze. I mean, he corrected himself, it was work. See, I said gently,
You're still minimizing, still deciding what you think I need to hear instead of just telling the truth." He swallowed. It was her, just a message asking if I was okay, and I didn't respond. "That's good," I said. "But notice how fast you reacted to protect me from the information instead of trusting me with it." He stared at his plate. That night he asked, "Do you think we're going to be okay?" "I think you're trying," I said. "I don't know yet if that's who you are or who you become when you're afraid." He lay awake long after I fell asleep. By the third week, his effort had a rhythm to it. Predictable, careful, almost rehearsed. He woke up earlier than me now, made coffee, left notes, asked before making plans, checked in without hovering. He told me when he was running late, told me when someone from work texted, told me things I hadn't asked to know. Transparency offered like proof. I accepted it quietly, the way you accept an apology, when you're no longer sure forgiveness is guaranteed. "You're still watching me," he said one night as we cleaned up after dinner. "I told you I was. I don't know how to do this if you're always waiting for me to mess up." "I'm not waiting for you to mess up," I said. "I'm waiting to see what you do when there's nothing at stake." That answer unsettled him more than any accusation ever had. A week later, we sat in a couples counseling office with neutral walls and a clock that ticked too loudly. The therapist asked simple questions at first: how long we'd been together, what brought us in, what we wanted out of therapy. He spoke first, about reconnecting with an old friend, about not realizing how much it hurt me, about trying to fix things. Then she turned to me. "Why did you pull away instead of fighting harder?" she asked. "Because I'd been fighting alone," I wanted to say. Because I was exhausted. Because I realized explaining myself over and over was teaching him that my pain was negotiable. I pulled away because continuing to fight felt like begging, I said instead. And I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to beg to matter. The therapist nodded slowly, then turned to him. "Why didn't you see it sooner?" He hesitated. "I thought she was secure. I thought she could handle it." "Security?" the therapist said gently, "doesn't mean tolerating neglect." Something shifted in his face then, not guilt, understanding. Outside the office, he reached for my hand. I let him take it. "I didn't know," he said quietly. "I told you," I replied. "You just didn't hear me." Over the next month, things stabilized, but they didn't soften. We were functional, polite, sometimes warm, sometimes awkward. He asked one evening if I forgave him. "I'm working on it," I said. He asked if I still loved him. "I'm figuring that out." That answer hurt him. I could see it, but I didn't take it back, because love that's assumed becomes invisible, and invisibility is where we almost lost each other. It's been 3 months since the night he told me his ex was part of his life and that it wasn't changing. It changed. He hasn't seen her since. When she texted a few times early on, short, polite check-ins, he showed me immediately without being asked. No defensiveness, no minimizing, just transparency offered freely, not as proof, but as practice. We're still in counseling, still learning how to speak without defending and listen without preparing a rebuttal. Progress exists, but certainty doesn't. The therapist asked me recently what I felt was missing. Now, I didn't answer right away because it wasn't trust, not exactly. It wasn't love either, not fully. It was presence, the automatic kind, the kind that doesn't require reminders or consequences. The way I used to include him in every small decision without thinking. The way I used to check in just because I wanted to share my day. The way I used to rearrange my schedule instinctively to make space for him. That part of me went quiet the night I said, "noted," and silence, once learned, doesn't forget itself easily. He asked me last week, sitting across from me at the kitchen table, "Do you think I can earn that back?" "I don't know." "No," I said honestly. "It was freely given before. Now it has to be rebuilt. That feels harder." "It is," I said, "because now it's conscious." He nodded, accepting it without arguing. That's new. I've learned something through all of this. Sometimes the most powerful response to being deprioritized isn't confrontation, it's withdrawal. Not as punishment, as protection. You can't force someone to value you, but you can stop teaching them your needs are optional. I spent months accepting less than I deserved. When I stopped, he finally noticed what he'd been taking for granted. Whether that awareness turns into lasting change remains to be seen, but now we're both clear on the stakes. He knows what he could lose.